Name is Dave Schiff. I am from Walmart Advanced Systems and Robotics, Formula Alert Innovation. So you can go to the next slide. So Alert was a startup, started in 2016, and we were acquired by Walmart last November in 2022. And as of this month or October, we're now the Advanced Systems and Robotics Group within Walmart. We're based out of Andover, Massachusetts. What we develop is the AlphaBot automation product, and it's an automation system to consolidate and dispense orders at Walmart micro fulfillment centers. To the left, I show key components of the AlphaBot system. There's a large structure that contains totes with customer orders and inventory for groceries in 3 different environments. We have ambient environment, chilled, and frozen. We have robots that is the only moving part within the system that goes and retrieves the totes and brings them to picking and IO workstations. And these are the key hardware development pieces that need to be developed as part of the system. And we have a lot of software. So what the solution that we were bringing into house and working with PROJILITY was to improve our project portfolio management tools and processes to develop these systems geared towards the product development and operations program managers as being our customers. So we can go to the next slide. So about me, I'll go about me now. So my background is in engineering and program management. I've straddled the fence for a number of years, and I come from the system, hardware, and software development background, mainly in hardware development. I've worked in the defense, internet security, telecommunications, and now in the robotics and automation industry. I've worked going back into my early days in electro-optics. I spent a fair amount of time developing mission computers in the defense sector, voice over IP gateways, signal processing systems. I spent a fair amount of time in developing hardware platforms for internet security appliances. And now I'm in the robotics and automation space. I've been at Alert since April of 2021, so just over 2.5 years now. I've had a number of roles here, but I was initially the program manager for the bot that I spoke of, and I am currently the senior manager for the engineering operations team. And as part of that team, I'm leading a team that's bringing in expanding the project portfolio management toolset and processes, along with we're bringing in business intelligence solutions. And yep, I enjoy travel and photography. That's what I try to spend some time outside of work on. Okay, any next? So the motivation for us working with PROJILITY and looking at different solutions is that, we have a diverse set of subsystems that need to be developed. A lot of these are in inventions. We have a broad set of engineering disciplines and program management disciplines. We have large number of electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, software engineers. We need to do site construction. We have operations and quality and DevOps and program managers. We have a broad base of disciplines. And as part of our journey, since we were a startup and that we've been acquired by Walmart, we're growing fast. We're growing fast as far as the team, and we're growing fast and as far as deploying our product to sites. So it's a very dynamic environment, and there's a lot of projects in play. There's a lot of demand for continuous improvement and new projects. We need to be able to integrate a system that we can get a handle on that from a program management perspective, and drive our ability to be able to track projects, but schedule, cost, and resources. A lot of the same themes as Steve presented in his presentation. It's just coming from a different place. Okay, next slide. So once we determined that, yeah, we need to improve our tool sets, we need to improve our processes, some of the key objectives in determining where to go is that, okay, we are a Microsoft house, so we want to drive our solution to be aligned with Microsoft platform. So that drove us to be aligned with the decision to go with Microsoft Project, and Microsoft Project, the PWA, the Project Web Application. And that brought with it, it would be tightly integrated with Power BI. I mean, Walmart, we are, driving to be a data-driven, make data-driven decisions. And so the integration of PWA with Power BI supports that objective. And, with Power BI, we can get access to more data sets than just PWA. We're integrating other, SharePoint and other data sets to provide a complete picture of our projects. Using Microsoft Project in Power BI provides a better process for bringing consistent processing and reporting to bear, right? So we would do program reviews, and we had a template for a PowerPoint, but they would all start to diverge, come in differently. And so using a Power BI report simplifies the getting data from PWA, but it also provides a consistent platform for presenting to management. Another objective was to reduce costs. Our existing solutions really weren't aligned with the needs of the business, but also they were more expensive. So, since we were a Microsoft house to begin with, integrating Microsoft Project, it did reduce the cost of the overall solution. We needed a scalable platform. So, our initial implementation is really bringing in the framework. It's bringing in a project portfolio management framework so that we can continue to evolve. I mean, we're utilizing it now, but we're in the very early stages of adoption and growth. There's a long way we can go. Just like Steve was saying before, getting a handle on the resources is a challenge and an opportunity, because once we get that and we get our projects in there, we'll also be able to utilize the project optimization piece that is available in Project. We're not using that now, but it is a goal that we're trying to get to because it is a need. Okay, next slide, Annie. This is just a brief overview of the solution, right? So this just shows the components in PWA, Power BI, and some of the key functions that it can integrate with. So within PWA, there's Project Center and Resource Center, right? You can have a project site we're tracking actions and risk and issues and decisions, and it's the document library. So, we do have document sprawl where we can have documents located in lots of different locations because we have a lot of tools. PWA does provide a capability of consolidating that information, so you have a consistent look and feel and a consistent way for the project managers and program managers to control their projects. We are using, the project scheduling tool, obviously, and project plan tracking, capacity estimation. Things that we have not leveraged within the PWA environment is the project portfolio cost and resource analysis piece, nor the project intake piece. So those are things that we would be evaluating. Right now, we have project intake outside of PWA, but it's an opportunity going forward that we would look at. There's also roadmap capability within PWA, but we're not utilizing that. That's what the gray means. In this upper right, this just shows that, in our Power BI reports, we will pull data from some of our software project apps because we have, we use other tools to track software programs. We've been targeted initially to the hardware, on the hardware side of the house, controlling those projects, and now we're starting to bring those tracking software projects within PWA, but we need to also integrate that into our agile process and agile tools. And we are evolving the Power Business Intelligence side of this to integrate with our Power Apps and Power BI apps. And then we'll evolve scoreboards and metrics and other dashboards as we evolve. On the left-hand side, a key part of this is not to implement just the implementation of the technology, but it is supporting your users. And it is harder than even I thought it would be, but there's ongoing training and ongoing support that's required. The solutions need to be as simple as possible, because the project managers aren't always going into Microsoft projects. So, you're going to get a lot of questions. There needs to be a support infrastructure around that to support the users. And we're in different levels of goodness on this solution, and but we just need to be continuing to evolve. Okay, next, Andy. This is the journey, right? So this is a typical development cycle. And it really should have a circle coming back from continuous improvement to concept. But, the journey is we develop a concept, you develop a vision, bite off what you can do as far as your initial implementation, get buy-in from your key stakeholders and in management. Then there's the plan, evaluate, select your technology suppliers, establish what your minimum features are to go live, work with your supplier to establish a good, statement of work, establish your team, both with the supplier and internally, because it wasn't just me, right? So there was a team of people, a shout out to my boss, Heather, and Pam, who was supported me in bringing Microsoft Project in, and we're continuing to evolve the solution. But you establish your team. In parallel, you can develop your internal proofs of concept, continue to sell within the organization, get budget, and then engage with your supplier to actually perform development and test. It's important to leverage your partner with their training and their ability to be able to keep you in the guardrails as far as what you're actually implementing. In our implementation, PROJILITY was key in that. Then you launch, right? You development and test with key stakeholders, then launch the product. And then you got to continue to learn and bake in the feedback back into the solution. So the adoption can be large, right? So right now we're in the adoption phase where we've been using the solution since May of this year. So we're 6 months in, but I consider us still in the adoption phase. and we're ramping up adoptions. And adoption means that we continue to onboard more and more program managers and more and more projects. So it's the overall operationalization piece. We continue to build out BI dashboards and BI reports, and you got to continue to get feedback from different eyes, different people. Everyone has their viewpoints, so you have to have a group that can distill that information and continue to improve the product and continue to improve the users. So next slide, Danny. So the benefits of the platform, just to wrap it up, I mean, it does drive process. It will integrate best practice and reporting consistency. By tying the disparate pieces of data into a BI report, you can tell a story, and it can tell a consistent story. So it supports the program in doing that, and you can drill down as required. Excuse me. And it should drive our schedule predictability. And we're all different levels of goodness here also, because it takes time. But as you get your schedules into Microsoft Project, you develop templates for your schedules. It could be different project types. It will drive a level of rigor that, coupled not just with the tool, but with the processes around that should drive schedule predictability, and it should drive cost schedule predictability. It should drive allocation of resources. And then in the last bullet here is about project selection and resource optimization. That's a journey, but we're driving towards that. And having the framework in place should be able to support this. And I think that's where we're really driving to. Next, Danny. So key lessons learned. As much as you can, leverage Kickstart solutions and expertise. If you do not have the expertise within house or the capacity to leverage that expertise, seek outside help. Seek partners that can support you. In Kickstart solutions, we did use the Hammerhead. We used the Hammerhead suite of tools for Power BI, and that was very helpful to get us going quicker. I mean, you can always develop stuff internally, but wherever you can leverage lessons learned and reference previous experience, you should. Embrace continuous improvement and adoption. It's not a one and done. It's not, we did an implementation and then we're done. It's an ongoing process. And you need a core set of people that can support that. And you need to know that the solution is always going to be yearning for improvement. You're always going to be getting input, and you're always going to be having more people that then have to use the solution. Develop and communicate and execute on the vision. I try to establish a roadmap, a aspiration of where we want to go with the project portfolio management solution, and that will just drive decision making. It will drive buy-in, and it will drive your prioritization. Don't estimate user support needs. That I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, you do need to have a support infrastructure and people for training and leverage training from your partner, and it's going to be ongoing, and it's probably more effort than you think. Next. So I'm not deep diving into the reports, but these are some of the reports that we're developing that tie in data from PWA in some of our outside data sets. But we're looking at, that top is a resource heat map. The middle chart is resources over time, and we're looking at by teams, by roles, by name. Then we have one bottom left is a one pager for a project that we would typically show at a program review. And then we're integrating cost information to roll up costs from, our CapEx and our expense and our labor costs. So these are just some of the reports. We have more behind it, but those are continuing to evolve also. So I think that's all I got.